So as you guys know, we've been on hiatus with our Q&As probably since the late summer, and we appreciate you UFC Undisputed community for all your views and comments and feedback that have really helped to improve the game, and especially for those of you participating in our alpha test right now. Again, we thank you guys. We hit up our very undisputed and awesome message boards to get some of your questions on core gameplay, and without further ado, we picked some of our, I don't know if I'll call these our favorites, but these are definitely the ones that we thought were the most interesting, and we'll just get right into it here. So, Shamownage, first question comes to us from Trey Legacy, and he says, will any of the UFC 2009 brute force submissions or brute force takedowns be making a return? I personally think you should bring brute force back into the takedown system. Will that be a possibility to return?
So as of right now, as many of you know, our submission system has gotten away with the shine. It's gotten away with the brute force. And it's more of a mini game where it's a kind of a cat and mouse thing, which kind of feels a little bit more true to jiu-jitsu. You know, you're trying to trick your opponent into going where you want them to. There's no plans to add brute force submissions or takedowns back in at this time. It definitely wouldn't work with the submission system as we have it now, so that would require a whole overhaul. With takedowns, it could be a possibility, but there's no plan as of this time.
And do you have any opinion as to why that possibly might not matter within our new game design?
I think it's the submission system now requires a lot more skill, so it feels a lot more true to jiu-jitsu, and I think adding the button mashing and spinning aspects in would kind of be a step back for us.
All right, so next question comes to us from Nephilim. That sounds like a couple other words that I probably don't want to say on camera, but his question says, with the between round recovery and simulation mode, will there be a higher rate of decisions?
Definitely. I can say confidently that we've had a lot of back and forth battles in the office that have gone to decision. And I've played a lot of guys on the alpha, very high level guys like Cassidy, you know, Fate, and a couple others. And all of my fights on the alpha have gone to decision with those high level guys. I think there was a couple that ended early, but usually it was because of a difference in skill set. So I can confidently say you're going to have a lot more decisions this year.
And just for the guys out there that might be new to this series or may not know of what simulation mode is, can you just explain real high level the difference in simulation mode from the rest of the game?
So simulation mode, it turns the stamina into more of a sports sim. So you have a lot harder, you have a lot more of a hard time trying to manage your stamina if you're just going out there and swinging crazy hooks. You really have to be conscious of everything that you're doing, or else you're going to get gassed quick. And that also leads to the damage working a little bit differently too. So if you swing a few big punches, gas yourself out quick, and get hit with a heavy shot, then you'll get rocked or dropped a lot sooner. So it's definitely a game mode where you have to really pick your shots and be very conscious of everything that you're doing.
All right, next question comes to us from Domeni Cobb. He says, can we, quote, finish the fight when we leg kick TKO or body TKO someone? And just to remind you what finish the fight is, it's a new, we can't even really call it a mode. It's a feature in the game that at the end of the fight, we give you a few extra seconds to give your opponent a last nice kick to the head or punch to the face and you know, deal a little extra damage for that extra gratification.
Yep, so if you do leg kick TKO or body TKO someone, they're going to drop and you can jump on them just as if you knock them out and, you know, finish them off with a few shots. So I think it's even more satisfying than the normal TKOs because, you know, you've worked someone's body or legs to the point that they've just been completely dropped from that, and then you get a couple more shots to kind of just put that final nail in the coffin. So it is there, and it is definitely satisfying.
Awesome. And I know the leg kick TKOs, I mean, watching the guy's leg buckle in the game, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely reminiscent of like Faber, although those kind of fights, it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Our final question for today's video comes to us from Jamie Parks. Nice name. And he says, or she, will Pride be featured in Ultimate Fights mode?
Yes, definitely. We have added some, you know, we've brought back Ultimate Fights mode. It's something that's been popular with a lot of fans. We've revamped the way it works. The challenges are going to be a lot easier to do in the process of fighting a match. And we have added Pride fights in there. I'd say my favorite, off the top of my head, is Vanderlei Silva and Rampage. I don't remember which fight it was. They fought twice in Pride. But it is one of the fights, and it is awesome to play it out. And with the way that, you know, we throw the challenges out there as you go along, it really forces you to play as if you were in that fight and you're reliving those moments, which is really cool.
That is really cool. And something I like to remind people about Pride Mode is that a number of the fighters in the game, such as Anderson Silva and Rampage, we have their Pride model or what they look like in Pride and what they look like in UFC. And I think that's very unique. We talk about having this big roster in the game, and one of those finer details that gets overlooked that was, put in the game because of a lot of passion from our team about Pride and UFC was the fact that we went back and we put in, it's not just UFC Anderson in Pride, it's actually what Anderson looked like in Pride. And I just think that's a really cool, nice touch.
Yeah, definitely. You got Pride Anderson, he's got the goatee. He's not too much different, but he does have the goatee. Wanderlei Silva's got the different face. If you're familiar with Wanderlei Silva's had his corrective surgeries, and it's kind of changed the way he looks. So you can tell the difference a lot between those ones and the Dan Henderson model in Pride and UFC. Those two look a lot different as well.
Awesome. It's all about the small details, guys. Well, that's it for this edition of our Q&A. You can follow us at twitter.com/UFC_undisputed or facebook.com/UFC Undisputed, or you can get all your UFC Undisputed news up to the minute at UFCundisputed.com. I'm THQ Tank.
THQ Shamownage.
And we'll see you next time.